I guess kind of going down the funding route, and just your ability to build strong networks. You know, a lot of people here are early stage founders, and I think we all know the environment right now for raising money is really challenging. So with your network and your experience, what advice would you give the folks in this room for, you know, what should they be doing or thinking about strategically and maybe even doing tactically to meet the right people and hopefully raise their next round?
Yeah, and a great question. Funding is a really funny thing. Like, how many of you guys have raised money or tried to raise money in your career for a company? How many of you like the experience? Charles is up there, right?
Loved it.
Yeah, and no disrespect to the VCs, the bankers, the strategics and all that. The process is very difficult. It's very formulaic. And so, if you're going down the VC traditional route, it's very formulaic, right? If you're a software company, you're typically going to give up, 15 to 20 to 30% of your company. It's formulaic. It's built to a system, right? So there's a couple of different ways I would look at investment today in today's climate, which is very difficult, right? We have not had enough IPOs lately. The VCs have a lot of money on the side. There's a lot of money out there. Question is, are they going to deploy it? Or are they going to put it back in the markets? Right? You're really competing against the markets and the risk mitigation of how fast, how quickly you're going to be able to turn that money from $1 to X dollars, right? And, so my recommendation for any entrepreneur is that it's a different kind of thing. If you're early stage, look at things like safe notes, convertible debt, work with friends and family, get your first money in, put your money where your mouth is. Either give your time or put your own money in your company. I know even if it's $5,000, $2,000, show that you're willing to risk something minimal, even if you've got that idea, to show you've got your blood in the game is very important. My other recommendation on this right now is to look at very strategic types of investment, right? So what's happened out there in the market right now is, if you haven't done traditional VC thing, where you've got a Sequoia or Andreessen that's already, if you're there, amazing. But if you're not there, like 99.9% of human beings on the planet, finding strategic investors that can either help you by not just getting money to you, but by contributing maybe their software teams, so you can cut down on your burn and keep more of your company, right? So I would highly look at that. Also, start looking at the exit. Where do you want to go with your company? They always say, every entrepreneur should take a number when you start a company, put that number down on paper, put it in a filing cabinet. If you ever hit that number, get out. Even though you think you're going to go get that next number, don't get out. There was a moment in time where you put that number down on paper and go do your next thing. So how do we kind of navigate it? I'm seeing a lot of, and you got to be careful because of things like CFIUS, like Victor and I were talking about this today. But I'm seeing a lot of the investment trends going overseas right now. Even Andreessen, Sequoia, and those guys, they're getting their LPs from the Middle East, other parts of the world as well. So in our today's geopolitical world, it's never been more important to look at a global side of it, but to be super careful with where you're taking it, how you're taking it, that you understand what you're getting into, because it can get very dangerous. One of the things as an entrepreneur you got to always be careful of is not get punch drunk with your own idea and take a bad deal because you're desperate. We're all desperate. We're always raising money. We're always building something. Everybody's desperate for something. So, but don't give in to the ideals, and don't make it too easy on yourself either. The right thing will happen for you. But look at strategics and also see how you can expand. And hopefully Vancouver can come up with some funding, some seed funding, and there's enough money and successful people here that, I think a bunch of new companies could come out of Vancouver.